This episode of the Stardom Cast is sponsored by Puro TV, your one-stop shop for all your Puro DVD needs. From Stardom to New Japan, from All Japan to Ice Ribbon, as well as incredible box sets documenting the best matches of your favourite Japanese wrestling icons, Puro TV has it covered with new items added every week. And now, as a special gift to listeners of the Stardom Cast, Puro TV are offering 10% off. Simply go to puro-tv.com, use the promo code StardomCast at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. Once again, that's the code StardomCast to receive 10% off your entire order. The link to their website is in the podcast description. And now, on with the episode.
Hey, this is Kevin Kelly, and you are listening to the Stardom Cast.
Hello guys, and welcome to a very special episode of the Stardom Cast. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin, and I'm joined as ever by my friend, and your friend as well. It's Matt Turner. Matt, how are you today?
Rob Goodwin, I am fantastic. I'm going to get a quick little brag in here, if that's okay with you. I just want to let you and all the friends and family of the Stardom Cast know that Mayu Iwatani was not the only hometown wrestler to have streamers thrown at her this past weekend.
Wow. I'm assuming you are alluding to yourself, otherwise that's quite a sad thing to say.
Yes. Now, granted, there was only maybe 4 or 5 streamers that were thrown at me instead of the hundreds that were thrown at Mayu. And granted, there was maybe about 80 people in the building compared to the, I don't know, hopefully we'll find out in a week or two how many people were in the building since none of the shows have been uploaded yet. But regardless, it's always a cool little thing when you get the streamers thrown at you. I was like, oh, how about that? So nifty little thing that happened in Mayfield, Pennsylvania yesterday or over the weekend.
And were you successful?
I was successful in cheap plugging the podcast. I'll tell you that much. You want me to get into it? Absolutely, you want me to get into it. So what we're doing with this little feud that I'm doing in new professional indie promotion that I'm working at, Higher Ground Wrestling, is that we're setting up a mixed tag match between the guy I'm feuding with and his valet, who's his real life girlfriend, and then me and Shelby Walters, who's a good buddy of mine. So basically, the finish of the match was I have him in the Fujiwara armbar, which is one of my many submission finishes. His valet comes in the ring, causes a disqualification. It actually comes to double disqualification because the ref gets blinded. Supposed to be blinded. The ref did a C+ job at best. The girls wind up having a big brawl, turns into a double disqualification, and the promoter's like, "Hey, just plug the next show and challenge for a mixed tag match. Can you do all the mic work?" Sure, absolutely. So I go in, put over my opponent, blah 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 blah, and then at the end I say, I'm not sure if anybody's aware, but I'm a big advocate for women's professional wrestling. And if you're not sure what I mean, listen to my podcast, The Stardom Cast. New episodes come out every Friday wherever you get your podcast. Figured, hey, there's almost 100 people in the room. Let's get a cheap plug-in. So afterwards, I get done and I'm getting ready to leave because I was on sub main, so I was got cleaned up and was gonna head on home. But I go to say my goodbyes, and the promoter goes, "Hey man, I just want to let you know that your promo, you got the girls over, you got your opponent over, you plugged the match for next month, and you got your podcast over in a cheap plug, all in about 90 seconds. He's like, "You are an old school carny." And I said, "Damn right I am." Damn right I am. All about 90 seconds, I got it all in. So I got a microphone. What the hey, right?
Absolutely. I love the fact that you managed to plug all that in 90 seconds. That's no frills. That's impressive to say the least. And it goes some way to showing just how dedicated you are to making sure that we get listened to by more people.
Absolutely. I can do whatever I can do. I remember I was at a Fozzy concert. I know we're getting off track here. I was at a Fozzy concert a little over a year ago, and I bumped into a whole bunch of wrestlers I haven't seen in a while. And they're like, "Hey, aren't you doing like a podcast?" And I was like, "I sure am." And I literally made everybody that I was hanging out with and sharing a beer with download the podcast and subscribe
Amazing.
before I think I even told you, because it was like 9 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock my time. Like, I'm not going to text Rob. It's 2 or 3. So the next morning I was like, yeah, you may see that our subscriptions went up by like 20 people overnight because I made people subscribe to the podcast. Hey man, this is what we're here to do, my friend. We're here to promote the podcast. Not only that, but promote the fantastic wrestling promotion is Stardom. That is Stardom, because I know you agree with me and our listeners will agree with me that this promotion needs to be seen by as many eyes as possible.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Especially as if they manage to jump off what they did at the last pay-per-view, the Triangle Derby Finals, we're talking fantastic stuff in store for us for the rest of this year. And you look at how the show at Yokohama is shaping up. You look at the possibilities with the Cinderella Tournament, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit more detail today. It looks like it's going to be a very, very entertaining year. And it's going to make our Stardomcast awards a little bit more difficult, especially when it comes to picking show of the year and wrestler of the year and things like that. But I wouldn't have it any other way. So we did talk, of course, very, very briefly there about the Cinderella Tournament, and that is why we're here today. It's our Bracketology episode for the Cinderella Tournament. Now, just a couple of bits of housekeeping before we delve straight into this. The first bit is, as Matt alluded to near the start of the podcast, Stardom World hasn't uploaded any of the shows that we thought we were going to have to do. So we are recording this on Tuesday the 21st. We record our weekly episode on a Wednesday. There is simply no way that we are going to be able to watch any of the shows and have them reviewed for Wednesday. So if you're a patron, then on Thursday morning, as per usual, you'll get the episode, but it'll be a preview of New Blood Premium and of the Cinderella Tournament. Of course, if you want, subscribe to our Patreon yet, why not join for $1? And you will get yours on Friday. But yeah, there's just no way that we are going to be able to watch the shows in time for the podcast tomorrow. So if they are uploaded tomorrow, fantastic. We'll get them watched and we'll talk about them the following week. But there's no way we'll be able to do it by tomorrow. I think that was it. Let's go on.
Real quick, buddy. You just reminded me today is the 21st, which means it's the birthday of Momo Watanabe and one Tam Nakano. So happy birthday, Momo and Tam.
Of course, we know both avid listeners of the Stardom Cast.
Damn right.
Absolutely. So this year, it's exactly the same as what we did last year. We're going to go through the brackets match by match, sort of give you our picks, and then we'll eventually have our winners of the 2023 Cinderella. It differs slightly in two ways. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have basically created a template so that you can follow along with us, which I will try, he says, fingers crossed, to link in the podcast description if you want to follow along and fill out your own brackets. Tag us on Twitter. We'd love to see what your bracket looks like. And also this year, it's not just me, Matt, and Amber, but Kirsty has also filled out a bracket which, by sheer fluke, actually has a legitimate contender as a winner, and I have no idea how she's done it, but there we are. That's the wonder of this thing. And I swear to God, if she performs better than me in this, considering the amount of time I spend to do with stuff to do with Stardom, and she moseys on in and does better by sheer fluke, I will never hear the end of this. I can't begin to describe how much pressure there is on me to perform well here.
You're not going to be able to enjoy the Cinderella Tournament. Like I watch any good wrestling, which is all the wrestling I watch. I just don't have time for anything bad in my life. But I watch any good wrestling, especially Stardom, with a big smile on my face. you're gonna be watching this like when you were watching England in the in the World Cup or whatever it was. Because I was trying to text you, you were angrily getting mad at me that the U.S. and England went to a draw. And I'm like, I didn't book this. Like, why are you being mad at me? I had to
Bloody
quit the show,
Rossi.
and I was like, what do you even? I said, I don't even know. I said, I don't think I can name 3 soccer players in the history of soccer. But like, why am I getting heat for this?
You can definitely name the USA goalkeeper, though, can't you?
Oh, Matt Turner, right?
Absolutely. Now, similar to last year, I haven't filled out my bracket deliberately because I wanted to do it on the podcast. So whatever you hear me doing and the umming and ahhing and the slow frustration building as I realize I've accidentally eliminated Micah or something like that, will be real because my bracket at the moment is completely empty. I know Matt has already filled his in, Kirsty's obviously already filled hers in, and Matt, I assume, has already filled his in, or so he informed me. And what we'll do is
yes,
we'll stick all of these on Twitter, and you can vote as to whether you think the 2 of our partners who do not watch Stardom have got a better shot of completing this than we do. But
now, Rob, real quick, but I know sometimes I influence you on the podcast, and you have not filled anything out yet. So I just want to let you know, this year the C in Lady C might just stand for Cinderella. That's all I'm going to say, buddy.
If the great Carcy wins the Cinderella Tournament,
there it is. What a jerk.
There'll be some sort of punishment, 100%. Right, let's start then. So get your pens, papers, and all that sort of jazz at the ready if you're filling in the bracket alongside us. And don't forget as well, on our Patreon, for everyone subscribed, whether it's the $1 tier, $3 tier, $5 tier, we are currently running a competition, a Cinderella Tournament pick'ems, where you have the chance to win a whole raft of prizes. You've just got to name the winner, who you think are going to be the 2 finalists, and who you think are going to be the 4 semi-finalists. And then as a tiebreaker, because I had to think of a tiebreaker off the top of my head, it's how many matches of these countless matches are going to go to a time limit draw or end in a double elimination. So it can be double DQ as well. That also counts. Right. So, let's start with Utami Hayashishita versus Nene Takahashi. What we'll do is we'll go Amber, Kirsty. We'll do me then. Matt, we'll have you last. The reason we'll do that is simply so that people can't accuse me of copying off you.
Gee, says the former teacher.
That's why. That's what I'm thinking. So, Utami Hayashishita against Nene Takahashi. What has Amber got, or who has Amber got, to be more precise?
She's going with the Red Queen, Utami.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what Kirsty's doing as well. She's clearly a big Queen's Quest fan. And
I like her already.
She's gone for Utami. I'm going to go time limit draw.
Whoa, right off the bat, folks. He's not messing around.
Mate, I cannot begin to tell you how much I need this.
Don't overthink this, buddy. No. I can hear the stress in your voice already.
Honestly, I can't deal with this.
Guy. This poor guy's going to be drinking a lot in the next 6 weeks.
Just getting to the final and it's Haddon versus Tomoka Inaba, and I'm like, how has it come to this? My sole reasoning is that Nene has been built incredibly strongly, and to my knowledge has, I think, only taken 1 pinfall since she's been back, and that was to Syuri. So I think you don't want Nene winning it, but also you want to keep her looking strong. I could see them going for Utami because that does set up a Goddess of Stardom championship title match a bit later on down the line, if obviously 7-Up retain against the New Eras in Yokohama. But I think a time limit draw here keeps both women strong, and that is what Stardom loves to do more than anything else in the entire world. So, time limit draw. What about you, Matt?
I have Utami as well. Nobody picking Nene. I think Utami's kind of somebody that actually has a really good shot at winning this, because, and we'll get to this when I get to my final 4, is, again, A lot of people think it's the winner that goes after the white belt, just because it's pretty much what's happened since 2018. Now, granted, I know when Julia won in 2020, it's when Arisa got hurt, but I think she was going to be challenging Arisa for the white belt. But it is a wish. It's a wish that you get. And what if maybe this is the way that we get that Utami Julia red belt match, which we know is going to come in Julia's reign, because that's a big, big money match. So I think this might be, kind of way to start building it up. That's my theory on it. And I'm a fan of Queen's Quest, as you all know. So I have Utami going through into the next round.
Okay. Let's go. Let's make our way down that bracket then, that side of the bracket. And we have got Maika versus Momo Watanabe. So let's start with Amber again. What has Amber gone for? Who has Amber gone for?
Amber voting with my heart here, maybe because she knows it's Momo's birthday and it's Momo March Madness. She picked one Momo Watanabe.
Oh, and that does give her a second round match of Utami versus Momo Watanabe, which I don't think any of us would be disappointed with. Kirsty has gone for Maika, based on literally nothing, but has fluked her way to another great match. I think I'm also going to go for Maika. I think we talked a little bit on the podcast a couple of weeks ago about where Maika and Himika stood, and then it was announced that Himika was retiring. So rather than get Maika lost in the shuffle, I think a strong showing in the Cinderella could indeed be the way forward for her. And that also, by the way, as a result of the time limit draw I booked in that first match, that does mean that Maika is into the quarterfinals straight away with a bye. Matt, what about you?
I am going with Maika as well. So if Momo wins, that'll be a big win for Mrs. Turner over there. I'll make sure she brags to, because she doesn't do any social media, but I'll just let you know that she's bragging against all of us. But yes, I have Maika as well.
Julia versus Mai Sakurai is the next match. Who has Amber gone for?
Julia.
It's unsurprising, to be perfectly honest. I don't think you can say that there are locks in the Cinderella tournament. I'd argue that this could potentially be one. Kirsty's gone for... I know. Oh, what have I done? What have I done?
Mai Sakurai is going to pin the lead of her faction with the elbow drop.
Imagine.
If this go nuts.
Genuinely, if this was next year's tournament, I could see that happening and giving Mai Sakurai a shot at the red belt. But I just think it's come too early. I don't see Mai Sakurai winning this. Kirsty's gone for Julia. No, don't get in your own head, Rob. I'm going Julia as well. I was thinking, would they go double elimination on this? Like,
this poor... Folks, I might be asking for a new co-host of the Stardom cast, because Rob may have cardiac arrest getting into the Yokohama show. This poor guy.
I don't think I can deal with this, Matt. I don't think I can deal with it.
We're only picking the third match. The tournament didn't even start yet. You're already giving yourself a heart attack.
We got to do this side of the bracket yet.
We said this last year. One of these years, we got to just do this thing loaded. I think you'll enjoy it more.
I think so. I don't think Kirsty should be a part of this anymore. The inherent pressure that comes with attempting to beat a girl who doesn't watch the product.
I have Julia as well, buddy. I have Julia as well.
Yeah, it's on as again. I think further down the line, I could have seen them, because they are hot on Mai Sakurai, and they've done a far better job in the last, since she's joined Donna Del Mondo, to be perfectly honest. They've done a better job of building her up, and I don't think she'd ever win the red belt, but I think she could compete and give a good account of herself in the next year or so. But yeah, I think it's come far too soon, and they're certainly not going to have Julia taking a clean pinfall loss to Mai Sakurai. I just don't see it. Azumi versus Hazuki. This in itself might be the toughest match to call out of the entire first round.
You can really see either one of these ladies winning the whole entire tournament. Obviously, Hazuki,
Absolutely.
we talked about, where I think they're going with her, and especially coming off that probably the greatest white belt match of all time. Azumi is Azumi. She's terrific, and obviously she's got that match coming up against Mercedes Moné, rumored to be coming up here in the next few weeks. So yeah, this is probably the match I'm looking forward to most in the first round of the tournament. But my bride has picked Hazuki.
Hazuki. Okay. I believe Kirsty has plumped for Azumi. So there we
Ooh,
go.
the girls are split.
I will just say, though, she's never seen her name written before and still did a better job pronouncing it than Mercedes Monet.
He's shooting, folks. Rob's on fire today, folks.
Honestly,
he must have slept good.
This is what pressure does. So Azumi Hazuki, it's my turn. I'm going to go Hazuki as well. Simply because you hit the nail on the head when you said that Azumi's already got this huge match potentially booked for Sakura Genesis, which I think is either the 9th or the 8th of April. So she's already getting that big exposure. I think were she not to have that rub coming up, I could potentially see her winning here, but I think the story is very much written for Hazuki to do well in this tournament. And I think she goes over here. Good match. I mean, they've shown what they can do in high-speed terms, but I think Hazuki wins this here. What about you?
I'm in agreement with you and my bride. Hazuki wins. So if Azumi wins, then Kirsty gets the bragging rights in this one.
If Kirsty wins, I move out.
Wow. Now he's up in the stakes, folks. This poor guy's he might be homeless by the time this tournament is not even over out of the first round. Jeepers.
Well, we've done predictions for the last 3 Cinderellas, and my pick has gone out in the first round of the previous 2. So I have a terrible track record in this. So we will see. I can't even remember who I voted to win the last tournament. But I imagine it didn't come to fruition. Let's complete this sort of quarter of the bracket. So we'll stick with as you look at it, the top left-hand side. So Amber at the moment has Utami versus Momo. Who does she have going through to the quarterfinal?
She has Utami.
Okay. And Kirsty, sorry, I'm filling these in as we go. Kirsty has Utami as well. I have a bye, so it's Micah. And Matt, you've got Utami versus Micah. Who do you see going through there?
Well, both girls have Utami, and both guys have Micah. Go team us, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what that means. I have just realised we've missed off a match at the bottom of this part of the bracket. I apologise. Mariah May versus Rena. Who does Amber have there?
Mariah
May. I think I have, and Kirsty has Mariah May as well, to be fair. Kirsty does have Mariah May. I'm going to go for Mariah May as well. And Matt, I'm going to assume you're going Mariah May.
Time limit draft. No, Mariah May.
I am intrigued. Do you always throw in a draw? So I'm looking forward to. I think I know where it might be. But
yeah, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
I tell you what. You call it out when you get to me. Who did you pick? You say, is this the match you have the time limit draft? Because I'm willing to bet, you knowing me as well as you do, that I think you're going to nail it.
Okay, I'm intrigued now because I'm probably going to bodge this, but we'll look
so
at
much.
this.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm putting even more pressure on you. This poor guy.
Honestly, I've had to strip
like
layers.
sweating.
It's like that scene out of Airplane, man.
Don't call me Shirley.
Oh my God, this podcast is going off the rails. Julia versus Hazuki is the match that Amber has. Who does she have going through there?
Hazuki.
I think this tournament, I know that I've just said that, and Kirsty has Julia. I think when I've just said that, obviously you don't want Julia taking a clean pinfall, I should quantify that, because with there being over the top eliminations as well, you can afford to slip the odd surprise in. I still don't think Mai Sakurai will go over Julia, but I do think that Hazuki could. I think it's not out of the realms of possibility for Hazuki to pin Julia clean, but you don't really want to do that with your red belt champion, and a safe way to do that and still have them looking strong is over the top rope elimination, and that's why I'm going for Hazuki. And Matt,
I agree as well, sir. I have Hazuki going on to the next round, and I think that'd be a nice little wrinkle in the story, the fact that Hazuki had pinned Julia in night one of the 5-star and eliminator in the Cinderella tournament. That's always something that they can just light a little bit of a spark if they want to go to, whether it's a title match or whether it's just like, yeah, we need a big match at a Cork and Hall show. Here you go, Julia versus Suzuki. I'm like, I'm all in. So they can go back to that. But yeah, I think Julia's not going to eat a pinfall here in this tournament regardless, but I think it's going to be over the top. But yeah, I have Hazuki going through on to the next round.
Okay, well, we also have Hazuki versus Mariah May in the only second round. Oh, no, sorry, the sort of third round matchup. It's a weird bracket, and you'll see if you're following along. Hazuki versus Mariah May for your darling wife. What has Amber put?
Hazuki.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. Kirsty has gone with Julia because she had Julia over Mariah May. Now, in my head, whilst I was doing this, whilst I was at work,
way to go, buddy. Way to get work done.
Thanks,
you're as good as me.
Yeah, absolutely. Rob, are you doing these contracts? Absolutely. I do my work, folks. Now, I did sort of think Mariah May would go quite far in this tournament. But I also thought the Azumi Hazuki match was higher up on the bracket, so they wouldn't face off as soon. I'm going to go Hazuki. I was thinking. I mean, I'm basing this solely on the fact that they did put the Cinderella gown on Toni Storm in 2017. I mean, she also won the 5-star that year as well, so they're not scared of doing this for Gaijins. Do I think Mariah May is ready for a white belt match or to win a tournament? Probably not quite. Give it 3 or 4 months, I'd say yes. You know, looking at some of those, where we had King of Midsummer last year, maybe there. But not at the moment. And again, I feel like there's more of a story with Hazuki in this tournament. Matt, who have you got?
I have Hazuki.
Okay, and that leaves us with one match each left in this top left-hand side of the bracket. So Amber has got Utami versus Hazuki. Who's she got going through to the semi-finals? Hazuki. I can see where your wife's is going. Kirsty has got the Red Queen herself, Utami Hayashishita, making her way to the semi-final. I could so see this being a double elimination, Hazuki versus Maika. I'm going to go Hazuki. I'm going to play it safe.
Wow, look at that. I don't know if I reiterated this at the beginning of the podcast, but me and my wife did not fill out these tournament brackets at the same time. Actually, whenever we do any predictions on anything, it's very adamant that we have to leave the room because she does not want to be influenced anything at all by what. And I filled mine out on a Sunday, and then she filled out hers out last night. And I was telling Rob when I got on the air, as soon as I walked in, she goes, "Here's my bracket." And I only looked at her final four. And I was very intrigued, again, by who she has winning the right side of the bracket. So, and I think everybody's going to pop. Gonna pop. Especially our listeners are going to pop. But, yeah, so a lot of Hazuki love. And that bracket on the top left, I mean, you have, Utami, former red belt champion. Nene, former red belt champion. Maika, top of the card. Momo, arguably the greatest white belt champion of all time. You have Julia, the red belt champion. Mai Sakurai, the most dangerous finisher in all of wrestling. Azumi and Hazuki, two fantastic wrestlers. And then Mariah May is kind of like the wild card, which a lot of our listeners have told me they have her going pretty far in the tournament. So it's this left hand of the bracket is very, very interesting.
Absolutely. And I assume that means that you have got Hazuki going over Maika as well.
Yes, sir.
So of that top corner of the bracket, Amber has Hazuki going through. Kirsty has Utami. And then me and Matt have also got Hazuki. So Hazuki, our first semi-finalist, apart from Kirsty, who's got Utami, which is not a bad shout. Let's move down and complete this this left-hand side of the bracket, as we look at it. So we start with Syuri versus God's Eye teammate Tomoka Inaba. Amber, who has she gone for, Matt?
She's going with Syuri.
Unsurprising, considering what you said at the start of the podcast, as is Kirsty. as am I. And Matt, I assume you are not going to be different. You're also going to go Shuri.
And the over of kicks is over 15 in this match, which will put a smile on my heart, sir.
This would be quite a cool way for Shuri to put over Tomoka Inaba. Like, I don't think Inaba wins, but if they were to do like a time limit draw, it'd be quite a cool way of setting Inaba up. But I don't think we'll do that. I think Shuri's going to win. I think she's also going to do, spoiler, quite strongly in this tournament. We've then got Momo Kogo versus Saki Kashima. Will Momo be able to persuade Saki to rejoin Stars and embrace that way of life once more? Probably not. Amber, who has she got?
She's Saki. Excuse me.
Yeah, okay. Kirsty, I believe, has Momo Kogo. Kirsty does have Momo Kogo. I'm also going to go Saki Kashima because roll-ups. That's pretty much my MO with Saki. Matt.
Yeah, I have Saki too, and I think this is going to be like the dark horse match of the first round. It'll probably go like 3 or 4 minutes, but I think it sets up Shuri versus Saki, and just you never know what's going to happen. Like, don't blink. You're either going to get violence or Shuri's going to get rolled up. So I think that'll make for an interesting second round match. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you and Amber that Saki Kashima gets the win here.
We then move on to, now this is one of 2 matches that I think could be Matt's time limit draws. So we're going to go with Saya Kamatani versus Mayu Iwatani. Amber, what did she say?
She has Mayu.
Mayu. Okay. Kirsty has Saya Kamatani. Obviously a big fan of Saya's white belt work. Now, a Mayu win could potentially set up a white belt defense, but that is also assuming that Saya Kamatani holds on to the belt against Mina Shirakawa, which I'm not 100% sure she will. Also, it's spoiler, by the way, guys. On Twitter at the Yamaguchi show, I believe it was, Mayu has said that she wants the winner of whoever's got the IWGP Women's Championship. By that point, she wants them at Yokohama. So they could have the white belt match in the bank, I suppose. I'm going to go Mayu Iwatani.
Okay. You mentioned about a minute ago, sir, that you think this is one of 2 matches I have for time limit draw. You're half correct. I only have 1 match for time limit draw, which is this match.
It is.
I have this match. I don't know if it's going to go to a time limit draw or double over the top rope with Sai just being crazy and Mayu being crazy and clumsy. I can see both of them eliminating each other. Regardless, I just don't see a winner here. I think Stardom has done a great job putting on these really good, fantastic first round matches to draw people in the building and to get pay-per-view buys. But I think this one's going to go to a draw.
Yeah. I don't think either woman really loses anything by losing this match, especially over the top. Kamatani, possibly the clumsiest person in the entire company. And Saya Kamatani, it's not like she hasn't had a push, and she won the tournament 2 years ago. So, I know Mayu's won it twice. So, but yeah, I feel like a double elimination would probably fit this quite well. I'm only going for Mayu because of bias. We've got then, and this is where obviously I know everyone's bracket is going to be slightly odd because we've still got, of the 36 women announced for this tournament, we still don't know who 2 of them are. So at the moment they're still X and double X. So who knows who they are going to be? We are assuming that one of them is going to be maybe Waka Tsukiyama. I've been reliably informed after our last episode that it's not Fua. Fua has only been announced for the Yokohama show, not the Cinderella tournament. So it could maybe be Konami. It could be
Unagi's one that's been
God
Unagi's been one that's been come up a lot on my Twitter feed in the last 24 hours. So that's a possibility as well.
Unagi Sayaka is certainly a shout. I doubt it'll be someone like Hashimoto. Obviously, you isn't on this.
I am not in this. No, I will not be.
You are
No,
not in
I would
this.
love. I did not get the call. I would love to wrestle Lady C. I think we'd have a fantastic
As
match.
we know.
Yes.
The graphics already made, mate.
Yeah, that's right. From World Climax from a year ago. I forgot. I'll just tell you full disclosure, Rob, just because me and Amber had this conversation. We don't know who the X's are. So we put Hina and Lady C through just because it's just we don't know who they are. We don't know who they're going against. If you have X, I'm just gonna pick X to win, and then they have to wrestle either Mayu or Saya Kamatani. So I'm sure that one of the X's are going to win. But just for the sake of not going crazy, pulling this bracket out, considering the fact that you, sir, are already going crazy, so we figured we'd calm it down a little. So, yeah, Amber and I are just gonna let you know that we have Lady C and Hina going through, just because I would say it's the question mark, but it's really the X mark. See what I did there?
Oh, mate, honestly, fantastic. Well, Kirsty, just to thrash my head just a little bit more, has decided that X is going to win.
Whole thing?
I've gone Lady. Oh, no, I don't think I could have dealt with that. You're not taking it seriously. No, I've gone for Lady C as well. Whoever this X is, I don't know. I don't feel like you can properly get a feel for it if you don't know who it is. So just safe bet, put Lady C through. So looking at these second round matchups, we have got Amber has got Syuri versus Saki. Who's she got going through?
Syuri.
Syuri makes sense. I think all of us actually have got. Oh no, Kirsty hasn't. She's got Syuri going through against Momokogo though. I've got Syuri going through. Oh, actually.
Oh, jeez, folks.
There's been a story between Saki and Syuri, though, hasn't there?
It's only the Cinderella. It's not that big of a deal if you get beat in the Cinderella. Like, I'm not downplaying the tournament. It's just kind of like, we're saying, well, the red belt champion last year at this time was Sherry. And I even forgot who she got eliminated by. I think she was like Micah or Himika, like in a double elimination, and that person never got a title shot. So sometimes they follow up, sometimes they don't. But I understand it's a possibility, and I think that's what Stardom's trying to do. They're going to try to get you on the hook here to try to make you think that Saki's going to win, and that's where you're at right now in your train of thought, aren't you, sir?
No. I'm just thinking, like, they've done this sort of Saki being scared of Syuri, and Syuri has always been on the winning side. Apart from in the 5-star when Saki won. Do I go safe or do I go Saki? Oh, this is so much harder than I thought. I think,
folks, if you're at home, take a shot of Saki for Rob, because I think he needs it. I think he needs it.
I mean, no, I'm going to go safe. Syuri. I think Syuri goes through. Matt, who do you have?
I'm with you on that one, buddy. And I know normally we say that, Sherry. I know normally when we agree with something, it means we're wrong, but we have Amber agreeing with us as well. And she's my good luck charm. And you can please let her know that, she's not on social media, but if you ever see her out and about, just be like, hey, Matt said you're the good luck charm on the podcast. Can you score me some brownie points?
Let's fill out this end bit then. So Amber has got Mayu Iwatani versus Lady C.
Mayu
makes sense. Kirsty has gone for a shock victory of X over Saya Kamatani.
My goodness.
I honestly, she knows something we don't, man. She really does. And then I've got Mayu versus Lady C. And much as I would love the Great Carcy to deliver that tree bomb, a brain chop, and get the 3 count, I don't see it. So Mayu going through there for me. And Matt, who have you got? You've got Lady C through anyway because it's
time of the draw.
Bye.
Absolutely. Yep, because of the bye.
Wow.
C stands for Cinderella, brother.
And that leaves us then with our second semi-final spot. So Amber has got Syuri versus Mayu. Who's she got going through there?
She's voting with your heart on this one, brother. She's got the icon. Mayu going through into the semifinals.
Okay, that's not a bad shout, to be fair. we've then got Kirsty, who's gone for Shiori. Shiori finally ending the reign of terror of X. So she's actually managed to get Utami versus Shiori in the semi-final of the Cinderella completely by fluke.
I think that's what Amber did last year. I think that was her semi-final or final. We're like, how the hell did she figure that one out? We didn't.
I would love her to come on the podcast and explain her reasoning behind it, but I have a feeling that her reasoning behind it would just be random, innit? So we won't spoil the magic or the majesty around it. I'm getting Mayu Iwatani as well because I think there's this thing around the IWGP Women's Championship at the moment with Mayu challenging Mercedes Moné, or whoever holds the belt come the end of April. And Hazuki said she wants a shot as well. So I don't know. Having them face each other in the Cinderella Tournament semi-final, I think, would be a good shout. And yeah, we will see. Matt, what about
I have Shuri versus Lady C. What did I say the C stands for? Calm down. She's not winning this one. I have Shuri. Here, a little misdirect. I have Shuri going through to the semifinals.
Imagine.
I would be thrilled. I would never be so happy to be wrong. Again, I'm married almost 11 years. I'm wrong at least 5 times a day. I'd be like, chuck that one up. I'll take Lady C going to the pay-per-view. Absolutely.
What we'll do is we'll leave our finalists till the end. We'll move across to the other bracket and get all our semi-finalists locked in before we talk of any finals and winners. So the right-hand side of the bracket, we start at the top. And Amber, Starlight Kid versus Haruka Umasaki. Who does she have?
She has Starlight Kid.
Okay, I imagine that's going to be where everyone is going. Or Starlight Kif, as I've typed into that there. Kirsty has also gone for Starlight Kid. I'm also going for Starlight Kid. And Matt, are you the same by any chance?
Is that the only one that all 4 of us have the same on? I think in the first round. I think so.
I think you might be right. Which means, of course, that Haruka Umasaki is going to win in 3 minutes. Next one, we have got Amisori versus Yuna Mizumori. Will Pineapple Passion be able to topple the Future of Stardom champion? What does Amber say?
Amber says the pineapple is getting chopped down, brother. She got Amisori.
Wow. Interesting. So Amisori through to the second round. Kirsty also has Amisori going through. I'm going to go differently. I'm going to go Yuna Mizumori.
Oh, Rob, you know I love you, buddy, but you're 3-1 on this one.
I mean, Amisori needs Future of Stardom champion challenges. I have no idea if Yuna Mizumori actually qualifies to fight Amisori. I don't do that much research, apparently. But in my head, she is able to challenge. So why not? Why not? Why not go for it? I think it's a good way to set up a challenge for Ami. But yeah, so I'm on my own on that. But I'm fine with that. Next, we move on to Himika versus Tam Nakano. Obviously, we've got Himika, who will be retiring come the end of April. So I'd be surprised if anyone has Himika going through this match. What does Amber say?
You're going to be surprised, buddy, because she has Himika going through this match. I did try to let her know. It's like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to influence you, but she is retiring. And she's like, well, maybe it'd be nice to have her get a first round win over. And I'm like, you just say that because you don't like Tam. So,
Well, apparently great minds think alike, because Kirsty's also got Himika going through.
I think me and you know where we side on this one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tam Nakano.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Tam. Mwah!
Although, to be fair, I could see that one going to a double elimination.
Ooh.
We've then got what could be a really difficult one, Ruaka versus Natsuka Tora, just to round out this third sort of quarter of the bracket. I see this as being... I could see Ruaka going through here. What does Amber say?
Amber's got Ruaka, and her reasoning behind it is the same reason. Well, I guess I'm going to show my card here. The same reason I had behind it, because she watched that Cork and Hall main event, and she was like, well, the wrestling was really good, but that Cork and Hall crowd was so into her, so capitalize off the momentum and put Ruaka through.
Yeah, I've got Ruaka as well, as has Kirsty.
That's all four. That's four of us. Wow, look at this.
Of all the matches we've done, Ruaka versus Natsuka Tora is the one that we all agree on.
And Kid. And Starlight Kid and Yumasaki.
And
right.
Starlight Kid, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with your reasoning. I think Tora's great. I think after that tag match, there was a lot of upside to Ruaka. Obviously, she's still young. And I feel like we could give her just a little mini push towards just up the card a little bit. Not dangerously close to white belt or red belt territory, but, sort of getting her up there because the improvement's been great. And like you say, what a star-making performance at Korakuen Hall on the 10th of March. We move on then to Starlight Kid versus Ami Suri, which Amber has. Who does she have there, Matt? Starlight Kid. I believe Kirsty has also got Starlight Kid. She does. I'm also going Starlight Kid to go over Pineapple Yuna Mizumori. And Matt, I'm going to assume you're going Starlight Kid.
SLK, you betcha.
There we go. We're all confident of a dominant run by Starlight Kid. We've then got Himeka versus Ruaka from Amber. Who's she got going over there?
Himeka with another win here.
Himeka with another win. Are we going to see the Jumbo Cinderella Princess? Kirsty also has Himeka going over. We've got Tam and Ruaka. I'm going to go Tam. I don't see Ruaka beating Tam unless we could have a Wedatai shenanigans. We've seen it before. We saw Mayu literally being wrenched off the apron by a Wedatai 2 years ago, so it might happen.
Yeah, all eight members. How the ref didn't see it blows my mind. It's like, I get it.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It'd be one thing if Tam's on the apron or like Mayu is on the apron and like somebody ducked down, like Starlight Kid, because she's all of like 5'1", ducks down, like pulls on her leg to like have her trip, and like really 8 members. Anywho, I have Tam going through here.
Do I have Tam or do I go Ruaka? No, don't be silly, Rob. Come on. Do you not know what's at stake, Rob? Come on, have a think. So, Amber's quarterfinal is Starlight Kid versus Himeka. Who does she have advancing to the semifinals? Starlight Kid. Which I believe at the moment makes it, 3 for 3. Because me and Kirsty have said Starlight Kid is making her way through there. Matt, are you going to make it 4 for 4?
Team Tam all the way, brother. Team Tam all the way. And I'm going to give my reasoning behind my final 4 once we get there. Not that I need to like say why Tam's going to go to the final 4. Come on, it's the Twilight Dream. It's Tam,
Because you're a massive sucker. That's why. Let's move on then. So far, just so you can keep a little bit of a score, Amber's semi-finalists are Hazuki, Mayu Iwatani, and Starlight Kid. Kirsty has got Utami Hayashishita, Syuri, and Starlight Kid. I've got Hazuki, Mayu Iwatani, and Starlight Kid. And Matt has got Hazuki, Syuri, and Tam Nakano because he just has to be different. We move on then to our final quarter of the bracket, and that first match sees Mirai and Hanan, and this is where I think your wife could potentially impress me with her bracket. Who's she got going over here?
Yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to this match. I think this match is going to be great. She has last year's winner going through here into the next round, Mirai.
She disappoints me. Kirsty's also gone for Mirai. I mean,
you just want to have another match where you can hear Hanan's theme song, and there's nothing wrong with that, brother.
I mean, to be fair, it's a Cinderella tournament. Mirai won it last year. Does she need the rub of winning, like going through here, especially when we've got things like over the top rope elimination? She's already in a big match at Yokohama, but a match like this and getting through could make Hanan.
At the same time, you eliminate last year's winner in the first round. I mean, there's no wrong answer. I mean, this would, at the same time, Hanan, who won, you know that she's going to get pushed, rightfully so. She's fantastic. Great music or not. Please don't change your theme, Stardom. Yeah, this would be a big feather in the cap if she was to eliminate last year's winner in the first round.
I mean, Saya Kamatani, did she? Oh, she went through by a bye and then got eliminated with a double, some sort of double
elimination with Micah. Yeah, they like power bomb
yeah.
each other or some crazy like that. Some crazy apron finish.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could do it. Do you know what? Sod it. I'm going for
Good
Hannah.
for you, buddy. You take that risk because you're the only one. I got Mariah as well.
I knew you'd say that. I knew you would say that. We move on then. Obviously, the top person in that bracket is going to bypass this sort of round of second round matches, so she will make it through automatically to the quarterfinal. So for Amber, Kirsty, and Matt, that is Mariah. For me, that is Hannon. Let's do Saya Iida versus Miyu Amasaki. Matt, who is Amber got?
Saya Iida.
Saya Iida. Okay, it's nice to see Saya Iida get a bit of a rub. Kirsty has also gone for Saya Iida, as have I, because it's Saya Iida and she's brilliant. Matt, who have you gone for?
4 for 4 for Saya Iida.
Get in. So Saya Iida. I've said, what am I talking about? Ignore what I said about Mariah going through automatically. Please ignore me, because that's nonsense. Because there's another matchup literally there. So ignore me. Natsupoi and Mina Shirakawa. This was the other one I thought could have been your time limit draw. Because initially I was like, Mina Shirakawa was winning the Cinderella Tournament 100%. But now that they've announced her for Yokohama, taking on Saya Kamatani for the white belt, I'm like, yeah, she's probably not going to win it this year now. So, we'll see. What's Amber said?
Yeah, Natsupoi.
Big fan of Natsupoi.
She used to be, yeah. Natsupoi was her favorite wrestler until she joined Cosmic Angels. And I literally had somebody on our Discord say, well, isn't your wife a big fan of Natsupoi? Like 2 weeks after she turned, I was like, no, she hates her because she joined TAM. And then I forget what it was. Like, you need to divorce your wife. I said, if you live with my wife, you'd know why I would never, ever, ever leave her. But I appreciate your passion for Natsupoi.
I'm going to go. Natsupoi, did she make it through to the semi-final a couple of years ago? I think she did, didn't she? Did she go through to the semi-final last year?
No, the semi-final was Hazuki versus Koguma, and was it Mina and
Natsupoi Mirai?
Mirai, that's right. You're right, sir. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't. I mean, Mina won their match at the 5-star as well, so. Oh, do we have a time limit draw there? Yeah, we do. Time limit draw, both eliminated.
Says you.
Says me.
Mina Shirakawa. Mina Shirakawa, sir.
Okay, I just think she's already got the tournament. She's already got the white belt match. I don't think she needs Shirakawa. I can't spell Shirakawa.
Just like Mina. M-I-N-A.
Honestly, the stress is getting to
I can
eyes,
tell. It's like upside down typing. This is one that we should have done for video. That's the one we should have done for video. Rob's sweating like he's in the desert, like running 100 miles an hour.
Oh my God. I don't think anyone needs to see that, trust me. Koguma versus Tekla then. Amber, who does she
Tekla.
have? Yeah, I think Kirsty's gone for Koguma, the bear to reign supreme over the spider. As we know, of course, bears are bigger than spiders, but spiders are poisonous, so I am also going for Tekla. Yes, that is my reasoning.
It. This is the best podcast ever.
Matt,
this is the only match that I had my pick and then crossed it out. I originally picked Koguma because Koguma, whatever you want to call it. Just because I thought, well, she made the finals last year, but I thought, I think they're going to push Tekla. I know Tekla in a press conference did say if she wins the Cinderella tournament, she wants to bring back the SWA championship. I don't think they're going to do that, but I think it's something that's kind of be in the back of everybody's mind. So I do have Tekla going through to the next round.
I'm glad they haven't just forgotten about that championship because, Jesus Christ, that's what it's looked like. So Amber's gone for Hina because, obviously, the last match on this side of the bracket is Hina versus Double X. Pardon me, Kirsty's gone for Hina. I've gone for Hina. And, Matt, I'm assuming you've gone for Hina.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, moving on then. Amber, Mirai versus Saya Ida. Who does she have?
Saya Ida.
Oh, gorilla power. Love it. Kirsty has gone for Mirai over Saya Ida. I'm getting Hanan over Saya Ida. Wingori implodes. If you look on the totem pole of stars, Hanan is higher than Saya Ida at the moment.
Sure.
And I think this could be, to get through to the quarterfinals, I think would be a great rub for Hanan. I think it would be a good little elevation from where she's been. Obviously, she won the Future Stardom Championship, had a great run with it. Most successful title defenses in a single reign with the belt. Lost it, obviously, to Amisori, and now it's a case of, right, so where are you going to go next? I think a good run in the Cinderella is a good next step. However, I am the only one, apparently, of the four of us that thinks that. So, Mirai versus Saya Ida, Matt?
Mirai.
Yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? And the more I think about it, the more I'm talking myself out of it. But it's fine. We have got Amber then. So, our next second round is Natsupoi versus Tekla. Who has Amber got?
Amber has Tekla.
Tekla, yeah. Natsupoi, that Cosmic Angels turncoat. Kirsty also has Natsupoi. Kirsty has Natsupoi on going quite the run. Obviously, I've got Tekla because we've got a bye in the match above it. And Matt, you've got Mina Shirakawa versus Tekla. I'm assuming that you're going to go for the Venus.
Yes, Mina Shirakawa.
Okay, we're nearing crunch time here, guys. We're going to find out our winners very, very shortly. So Amber's got Tekla versus Hina. Who's she got?
She has Tekla.
Okay. Kirsty has Mirai versus Natsupoi. Have I just spoiled that? No, she's got Natsupoi going through over Hina. I've got Tekla going over Hina. And Matt, you have got Mina Shirakawa versus Hina. I'm going to assume Mina Shirakawa. No disrespect at all to Hina.
No, this would be Hina versus Tekla, right? The bottom of the bracket. Isn't the winner of Kagama versus Tekla versus Hina versus XX?
Yeah, but you said you had Mina Shirakawa going over Tekla.
Yeah, I did. You just said something with. No, it's the bottom bracket. Isn't it the winner of Hina versus the winner of Tekla versus Kagama?
Nope.
Oh, am I looking at that wrong? I guess I am. Yeah, I have Mina.
Okay, so Mina's through to the quarterfinal. We've then got our little matchup to try and get to our last semi-finalist. So Amber has got Saya Ida versus Tekla. Who's she got going through?
Saya Ida.
No!
I told you.
Amazing!
Told you. She got Saya Ida going through. Unbelievable.
Oh, amazing.
That's the best. That's going to pop everybody. Everybody at home we always complain, poor Saya Ida, just a fantastic wrestler. Just always gets the short end of the stick. Amber says, heck no, I'm putting the gorilla through to the semifinals.
Get in. Thoroughly deserved. Kirsty's gone for Mirai over Natsupoi. Oh, crap. I've got Hanan versus Tekla. Who do I pick there?
You pushing Tekla through?
I really am. I do like Tekla. Tekla's great, but I don't know. Got a feeling about Hanan this year. Do you know what? I'm getting Hanan.
Wow. Look at you.
Hanan.
Look at you.
Hanan in the semi-finals. And then you've got Mirai versus Mina Shirakawa.
Mina.
Okay, so let's just pause for a second as I remember how to spell Shirakawa. There we go. So just to recap, our semi-finalists, we have got Hazuki, Mayu Iwatani, Starlight Kid, and Saya Ida for Amber. For Kirsty, we've got Utami, Syuri, Starlight Kid, and Mirai. For someone who's never watched Stardom and has no interest in wrestling at all, she's done quite well there. There's no like outrageous picks in that semi-final.
Unlike you, Hannon.
Yeah, all right.
Jerk, Matt.
You don't understand, Matt. I've overthought it. Hazuki, Mayu Iwatani, Starlight Kid, and Hannon for me. And Matt has got Hazuki, Syuri, Tam Nakano, obviously, and Mina Shirakawa. And that has become very obvious why you have chosen those to go through, because your semi-final is going to be Tam versus
Well,
Mina.
yes, not only that, but again, let me explain why this is. If I'm assuming they're going to do the format they've done the previous few years, is the pay-per-view is going to be the semifinals, the finals, and a whole bunch of stacked matches. So if you take a look at my semifinals, you have Hazuki versus Shiri, which is just basically you have the most violent wrestler in the history of Stardom, which is Shiri. Some people may be saying, no, it's Hazuki. I'm going to say it's Shiri because she has legit MMA experience. And Hazuki, who never takes a night off when it's like, you take a Shiri or a Momo or Julia, who are all violent wrestlers, and like, yeah, we're in this random 8-person match in front of 400 people. There's 4 minutes, so yeah, do your thing. And those wrestlers may be like, I may take it a little easy. I may put my opponent over. Where Hazuki's like, I have 11 seconds to hurt somebody. Absolutely. So that match between Shuri and Hazuki is going to be crazy. And then you have Tam and Mina. And it's like you basically have almost the Cosmic Angels. We know it's going to explode. Mina already has her own faction going within Cosmic Angels, very similar to what Tam did a few years ago with having the Cosmic Angels in with Stars. So you have that storyline, involved going in. And then regardless of however the finals go, it's going to be a great final. And if you add, Rob, say you add in a Julia title defense, whether it's Konami, whether you wrap up the story with Mayuguki, and then maybe say you add the Prominence versus Queen's Quest artist match. So say you put those 2 title matches on, plus the semifinals and finals, that's going to be a heck of a pay-per-view. Now, as you alluded to a few weeks ago, that the winner does not get a white belt shot. They get one wish. So what if, and we saw it on this past week's shows, what if Tam the press conferences leading up to this, Tam says her wish, because she's already getting her title shot, Yokohama, her wish is to have a hair versus hair match versus Julia. What if Mina says her wish is, if she wins, is something to do with like the Phoenix Splash with her match versus Saya Kamatani? Sherry's whole big thing is maybe she will go for the white belt, considering the fact that, hey, look at the prestige I raised up with the red belt. Let me do that for the white belt. And then obviously Hazuki's whole thing is she wants to go back for the white belt. So you can literally have all these stories intertwining with the wish coming up as well. So I think that would be, that's my reasoning for my Final Four.
There's some outrageous like the fact that they're going completely against tradition, but I do like the idea of, rather than it just being called, basically always defaulting to a title shot, I've always liked the idea that this wish could be anything. That's why I was so drawn to Tekla and the whole, I'm going to bring back the SWA belt if I win. I like that. I don't think it'll happen, if I'm being brutally honest. But I do like the amount of thoughts that you've clearly put into your wrong predictions.
I deserve that. I deserve that for being the jerk. And you
did deserve that.
You just volleyed that right back, brother. Absolutely. Well played, Mr. Goodwin. Well played.
So let's move on to what will be the 3 matches at the pay-per-view, the 2 semis and the finals. I'm just making a couple of editings to the brackets because I realised I've spelled Starlight Kid, Starlight Mid throughout the entire thing because of bloody autocorrect. So, Matt, let's start with Amber. So Amber has got Hazuki versus Mayu Iwatani in the first semi-final. Who is she going? Who has she got going over?
Hazuki.
Interesting. I think that's probably the right way to go. Kirsty has Utami Hayashishita going over Syuri, which isn't necessarily a bad shout.
No, I said before, that might be her way to get her red belt match against Julia maybe sometime in the summer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I'm getting Hazuki over Mayu Iwatani. And Matt, you have got Hazuki versus Syuri.
Fans win. Hazuki. So we got 3 people. Wow.
Hazuki.
We have 3 of the 4 of us have Hazuki going to the finals.
It feels right. I mean, honestly, had Mina Sheriff, I mean, I've been very, very clear from very early this year that, in fact, I think I might have said it when she when she came back from the injury with Xia Brookside and Mariah May. I think I said on that podcast that I thought Mina Shirakawa was a shoo-in for the Cinderella. But obviously, with that match now being announced, I don't see her then winning the Cinderella because it's pointless. She's already got a title match. So, who's the next story about? There's 2 people in my mind. Obviously, we are focusing on the white belt. The Cinderella tournament tends to focus on the white belt. Of course, as Matt has already said, they might go against tradition. They've certainly gone against tradition with this bloody blocking system for the tournament. So why not with the wishes? But again, you need to look at who the story is for, in my opinion, anyway. Matt, you've got Hazuki. I've got Hazuki. Kirsty's got Utami, and Amber's got Hazuki. So we've got our second semi-final. Amber has got Starlight Kid versus Saya Ida. Who's she got going through?
Starlight Kid. Sorry, folks. The Cinderella journey ends there for Saya Ida.
The Gorilla Dream ends today.
I love it. That'd be a good T-shirt to sell at that venue.
Absolutely. Kirsty's got Starlight Kid going through as well, so she's got a Utami Hayashishita and Starlight Kid final. Amber has got Hazuki and Starlight Kid final. I have also got a Hazuki and Starlight Kid final.
You and my wife are on the same page, brother.
Absolutely. And I'm going, Matt's got Hazuki and...
No, you didn't ask me yet.
I know, that's why I'm leaving the pause.
So Mina versus Tam, as much as it breaks my heart. If you remember, it was a day or 2 after we did the tournament, the bracket last year, I sent you a text message and I said, I just realized I think Tam's going to win the Cinderella tournament. Can you imagine Tam with a Cinderella dress on the cover of Weekly Pro Wrestling magazine? That's going to sell so many copies. Do you remember? It's about a year ago, so I highly doubt. Do you remember you literally sent me a text back about 30 seconds later when you said, that's a good possibility. However, how many issues of Weekly Pro Wrestling Weekly magazine is everybody going to buy, or are you going to buy? And I said, that's a very good point. A very good point. This one was a tough one for me to pick, but I think it'd be more of a boost to have Mina go over Tam here, to really, really springboard Mina into that main event role and really make a bigger crack into the Cosmic Angels. So I have a Hazuki Mina final.
How much has it killed you to say that? Just out of interest?
I like Mina quite a bit, so it's soften the blow. Soften the blow.
Soften the blow a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Why am I having such a problem spelling Shirakawa
because
today?
you're probably probably sweating over there, like all sorts of crazy.
That's what it is.
You're so worried.
That's what it is. And honestly, I was fairly happy with who I'd got as my winner, and now I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. Right, so just to recap, our finalists. So Amber has got Hazuki versus Starlight Kid. Kirsty has got Utami Hayashishita versus Starlight Kid. I have got Hazuki versus Starlight Kid. And Matt has got Hazuki versus Mina Shirakawa. I don't know if his Tam fandom will survive this, but that is what he's got. Moment of truth, guys. Moment of truth. Who does Amber have winning the Cinderella Tournament 2023, man?
When she was filling out the bracket and she said, here's my final, do you have either of them? And I go, yep, here's who I have. And she goes, I will go the opposite. I think she was going to pick Hazuki, but because she does not like to be in direct competition with me, or she just likes to win all the time, she has picked Starlight Kid. Had I not tell her that, she might have went with Hazuki, but for the sake of this tournament, she has winner Starlight Kid.
Kirsty also has Starlight Kid. Potentially a bit of an upset there going over Utami, but Starlight Kid is certainly a good shout as a winner. Especially as 3 of the 4 of us have her going through to the final. I know she's been very popular on the Patreon pick'ems as well. Now, I said that there's two stories with the white belt. Now, obviously, the Hazuki one is very obvious. The Hazuki one has been playing out over the last couple of weeks. However, they've been teasing something with Starlight Kid and Saya, and they've been doing it for a couple of months, where there's something not finished between them. And there's been sort of, we've all been thinking, like, how is Starlight Kid going to get back into this white belt picture? And a victory in the Cinderella Tournament would certainly do that. However, oh God,
Now,
I'm going to go Hazuki.
oh, so the girls have our significant others who are way better than us. They have
in every way possible.
Every way possible. They have Starlight Kid winning. For myself and Rob Goodwin, team Stardom cast, have Hazuki winning the whole tournament.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. That again, we are an ocean away. And the fact that like everything is so close, that's crazy. I mean, ocean in between us. And the fact that everything is so close, and the fact that me and you both have Hazuki winning. Now, this is mainly the fact that when I mentioned this the past 2 weeks on the show, you told me that you hated me, which I'm still not over. I'll eventually get over it because I swayed your decision.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You're already sweating bullets over there.
I feel like I've got a better shout this year with Hazuki than I did with any other winner. So this tournament, I feel like I've got a good shout with Hazuki winning. You've sort of like with the yes, obviously these three matches are going to be on the pay-per-view, the two semifinals and the final. I think opening with Starlight Kid versus Hanan could be a great way of opening that pay-per-view. Because you've got two very talented wrestlers. You've got Starlight Kid, who makes everyone look good, and you've got Hanan, who is perhaps the best young wrestler in the company. She's certainly the best of that sort of generation. I think that's a great way. And then obviously you'll have Starlight Kid going over to put on a tremendous final with whoever gets through to that final. The only thing that I might change is...
Too late. You're locked in, brother. We're on air. You're going to edit this out, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. The power of podcast editing. No, it doesn't change my Final Four, and it doesn't change my winner. The only thing that might potentially change is having Momo Watanabe go over Maika, because not only having Hazuki win the tournament, but have her finally conquer that Momo Watanabe monkey she can't get off her back. That could be an interesting sort of growth throughout the tournament and a nice story to tell in the earlier rounds.
You want to hear
although I might just keep it as my...
You want to hear my theory?
I'd love to hear your theory.
We know my theory why Hazuki's going to win the Cinderella tournament is they broke her down, building her back up, and then winning the tournament, and then winning the white belt. Very similar to what they did with one Momo Watanabe, where it is March Momo Madness. Cheap plug for the Patreon, where she did lose in February to Io, came back, won the Cinderella tournament, and then beat Io for the belt. Almost like a rinse and repeat there. But I think what they're going to do is, because Suzuki, if she wins this tournament, which means you both think she's going to need a big match at the Yokohama Arena show. Now, it is a possibility they can put her in the multi-person tag match with Fua Chan. That's, it will have a lot of eyes on her. I understand that. But at the same time, if you're going to have her be a challenger and potentially probably beat Saya Kamitani for the white belt, easy for me to say, I think you do Hazuki versus Momo at Yokohama Arena to even give her more of a springboard, because she's never been able to beat her in a true one-on-one match. She's never been able. She's lost the white belt match to her back in 2018. And obviously, if she would have beaten Momo in the final night of the 5-star, she would have went through in the final last year. So she can't beat that Momo. She can't get that Momo monkey off her back. What a better way to do it than to do it right before her white belt match in the biggest show in the history of Stardom. That's my theory.
It's a good theory. I'll be honest. I don't hate it. I'm not going to change mine. You're right. We've locked them in. We've done a whole podcast. There's no point doing a whole podcast and then me changing them halfway through. So out of all of our brackets, and I think the most important thing to note is out of our brackets, I've only done 2 time limit draws, and you've only done 1.
The girls haven't done any, have they?
I mean, I don't think Kirsty knew they were a thing. So that's sort of skewed.
No, my wife needs to know all the rules because she started filling her bracket out. And I told her 10-minute time limit over the top rope. She goes, that changes everything. I said, I'm just letting you know before you put it out, because if something happens, I'll get yelled at, and and that's that. And I know how to schmooze things. So that's it. And that's part of marriage, folks, is just your Uncle Matt Turner marriage advice for the week is you're always wrong. So it just makes things so much easier. You're always wrong.
Something I will say just before we sign off this episode, something I will say if you're filling out your brackets or if you're thinking of joining our Patreon competition, patreon.com/the Stardom Cast to get your picks in for as little as $1 a month. The 10-minute time limit does change everything. You're absolutely right. That time limit in those opening matches really does change everything. And the rule set of the over-the-top rope elimination, that is how things like we had 2 years ago, Rina beating Mayu Iwatani. That would, in singles action, in an orthodox singles match, that would never, ever happen. But in the Cinderella tournament, with all of the context surrounding the rules and things like that, and the way it's wrestled, it can happen. That's why they get so many shocks in this tournament, and why so often we see weird pairings in the semi-finals. And so just bear that in mind slightly when you're filling in that bracket. Now, the last maybe 2 years, I don't think Mirai was an obvious winner by any stretch of the imagination. Julia certainly was in 2020. Sayaka Matani certainly was in 2021. So obvious that I didn't pick her. But
appreciate your honesty.
I don't feel like this year is as obvious. I know that a lot of people have gone with Hazuki, but I don't feel it's as obvious. So, like I said, we'll put this on social media. Hopefully by the time you listen to this on Tuesday night, it'll all be up, and mine, Kirsty's, and Matt, and Amber's brackets will be on Twitter, and you can let us know who has got the best bracket. I know everyone that commented last year said that Amber had the best bracket, and as it turned out, you were right. She did. But yes, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We've had a ball doing it, no matter how stressed I've gotten during it. So thank you for joining us. I will try and link the Google Sheets version of the bracket that we've been filling out into the podcast description so that you can have a fill in as you're listening. But otherwise, if you join our Patreon, it's linked in the description for the competition. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Rob,
we
real
really,
quick,
really do appreciate
I'm sorry to cut you off. Real quick question, sir.
Okay.
Anybody you've talked to on social media, who is there? What is the most consistent pick to win the Cinderella tournament that you've talked to somebody on social media or just whatever? I'm just curious to see, who you've talked to, who they think is going to be the winner.
I'd say it's either Hazuki or Mina Shirakawa.
Wow, my final. The majority of people that I've talked to have Micah winning the tournament. So there's a little wrinkle in everybody's picks.
Absolutely. And that's what makes stuff like this great. But yeah, thank you for listening, guys. Like I was saying, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We are everywhere. Leave us a review if you think we've deserved it. Honestly, I can't tell you how much it helps us to get recognized, not just on Apple Podcasts, but on Spotify and things like that. It really, really does help us out. Check out the Patreon, www.patreon.com/the Stardom Cast, where you can join the competition for as little as $1 a month, as well as getting additional bonus episodes and things like that. You can talk to us on social media at the Stardom Cast, and you can talk to me on Twitter at RealRobGoodwin. Matt, sign us off, my friend, and plug your socials.
Absolutely. If you guys need to get a hold of me, any questions, comments, anything that you want to run by me, you can get a hold of me on Twitter and or the Instagram, Matt Turner OF. just send me a DM and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If social media is not your thing, drop me an email. The stardomcast22@gmail.com is the best way to get a hold of me via the email. Just piggybacking off of what Rob said, thanks everybody so much. We greatly appreciate the support. The growth of this podcast on a daily basis, weekly basis, just blows our mind when we check the numbers, and that's because of the fantastic support from the friends and family of the Stardom Cast. Because like I always say, folks, just not my podcast, it's our podcast, because we're all in this together and everybody's different, everybody's special.